Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and decided to use Blacephalon, a new Ultra Beast in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and my goodness, this thing has some crazy stats, some crazy damage, and some of the strangest mechanics we have ever seen in Pokemon. So what Blacephalon does for its main move, Mind Blow, is that it throws its head at the opponent, explodes, deals 150 base power damage, and then loses 50% of its max hit points. Now, when I first recorded this video, I thought it worked like Belly Drum in that you lose 50%, but if you have uneven hit points, then that means you get to use it 3 times. No, Game Freak made it to where you can only use Mind Blow twice because it drops you down, and then it's going to actually do like 50% of your hit points plus 1 to make sure you are always at half health and you do not get to use it 3 times. So that's going to make this Pokemon moveset a bit more complicated. Like, at first thought you just think, well, I'm going to sweep the battle spot with this, right? You go Mind Blow KO, Beast Boost, Mind Blow KO, Beast Boost, Mind Blow KO, I die, but I mean, that's a 3-1. GG. It seems like Blacephalon's good for that, but you can't do it just like that off the bat. Now, you can use Fire EMZ, so before I get any crazier into just like throwing movesets and numbers and words at you, let's dial it back. Let's go to Bulbapedia and just kind of break down what we have for Blacephalon in general. It is a Fire Ghost type Pokemon. So Blacephalon is a very strange mix. It's somewhere in between Pheromosa and Xurkitree, while also being the Ultra Beast form of a Chandelure. So anyone's played the Chandelure, this is just a higher damage, faster Chandelure that is, I think, quite a bit more frail as well. So that's your trade-off, but we still are dealing with insane amounts of damage. So 127 on the attack, 151 on special attack, 107 on the speed. I feel like if the speed was any higher, you know, if it was 109 or whatever, it'd pretty much just make Kartana irrelevant. But there's like this strange mix of balance. You know, Kartana still has the outspeed, can Night Slash Blacephalon, so that's going to balance right there. And other than that, just the stats are pretty solid. We're not the most sweepy Pokemon ever. I mean, that's still a lot of damage, and when we consider the base powers this Pokemon utilizes, it's insane. Now, the type effectiveness is also pretty intense. That you're pretty much getting hit only super effective, or you're going to be resisting the hit. That you only have 4 neutral moves. Flying, Electric, Psychic, Dragon, then everything else is going to be modified in some way. We're also super frail, so a very powerful Dragon-type move, you know, a boosted Outrage or a boosted Draco Meteor, that still has a risk of KOing you, so you will have to worry about the, about neutral hits with this frailty. Super effective hits, pretty much almost always gone. Rock is common, Ground is common, run to a Ghost or Water type Pokemon, and you're going to have a pretty bad time, especially because, like, 151 special attack is good, but we can't run Life Orb on this Pokemon, or actually, wait, I think we can. Yeah, never mind. In my first iteration of the guide, you couldn't do it because that means you're trying to go for like a 3-hit KO and then you just end up taking too much recoil. But since it's always a 2-hit KO, you can run Life Orb, and that's pretty much just going to try to guarantee 2 KOs against Pokemon that are not faster on you. So you can do that, but you also cannot run a Focus Sash. That Focus Sash, if you're taking recoil, what's the point of running a Focus Sash, even as a very frail Glass Cannon Pokemon? So the thing is weird to use, guys, and even like with a resisted hit is probably going to be, unless it's like, what do we have? We have 1 quad resist on Bug. So a resisted hit is probably going to do half your health anyway, so it's not going to be hard to take out a Blacephalon that's already at half hit points, so any kind of outspeeds will be devastating to it. The moveset, we get Psychic stuff, so we run the Psyshock or the Psychic. I personally recommend the Psychic over the Psyshock, because while it is good to have mixed coverage, there's a lot more defensive Pokemon in the game, and if a Toxapex comes your way, I would 100% want to hit a Toxapex with a Psychic, because most likely they're going to be a fully defensive tank to like survive earthquakes and stuff, and also just be like an annoying physical wall, more so than not. And then we just have Mind Blown, Shadow Ball, Psychic Move, coverage, and that's effectively going to be the Blacephalon for you guys. So going back into Pokemon Showdown, now we can talk about the craziness, because Beast Boost makes this thing quote-unquote unstoppable. That you can build momentum really quick with this Pokemon, and also just because you can't, you know, X amount of KO on the Mind Blow doesn't mean that's a bad Pokemon. You Mind Blow Fire EMZ, well, it actually makes it to where you're not taking a recoil. It changes the move entirely. So now we have a 151 special attacking Pokemon using a 150, so like using some of the most powerful moves possible on a Z move, and then just scoring KO right there. Beast Boost will now make it at +1. So with that +1, you can either use Mind Blow again, almost guarantee KO pretty much any Pokemon, and now you're at +2 while at half hit points, but now Stab Shadow Ball, that's going to be like your original Mind Blow or something, so still doing big damage, and then the Snowball potential on the Beast Boost is still real. So Fire EMZ, probably going to be one of the best things to use for the Blacephalon. Some people are talking about choice specs, that you just run it like a spec Chandelure that has 107 on the speed instead, and then you just kind of commit to the Shadow Ball, but it's also good to have that Mind Blow, that if you really need to kill something, even like for some resisted hit, like a frail Pokemon that's resisting, still might not be able to survive the Mind Blow. And also if there's like Stealth Rocks up, or if you're going for a late game Snowball, if you take out your opponent's Sweeper Pokemon, you take out their Scarf Pokemon, I think Blacephalon just kind of wins. So that's another thing that you can utilize the choice specs on. Specs the Mind Blow, huge damage, you can switch out, and then you can just kind of keep playing some other things. Also, if you just need 2 KOs at the end, bring in the Blacephalon, use them to remove the threats on the team that are threatening the other Pokemon on your team, and then you can still pick it up like that. So Blacephalon does have some options, and then I also have Explosion here. It's just physical, it's a lot of damage, but you can kind of run anything. Blacephalon gets the Calm Mind. Risky with how frail you are, but something you can run. The Magic. So we actually get Magico. Again, usable. It's niche, but I mean, I don't think you really need much outside of Dual Stab with Mind Blown and then Psychic. Now, you can run something like the Heat Wave. Some people are opting for the Overheat. You can run the Flamethrower. So, if you want to do that, you can. I think Flamethrower is going to be better than Heat Wave just because of the accuracy. Like, you don't want Blacephalon missing when it absolutely matters. Sure, you can blame RNG. Pokemon's an RNG game, and stupid things will happen when it matters. Or you can also just go and run the Dark Pulse and try to expand your coverage. Hidden Power. That's also going to help out as well. But I mean, like Hidden Power Ice might be the big one because you need to knock out Dragon-type Pokemon. Garchomp, 4x super effective Hidden Power Ice. It's not going to be able to survive. So that's going to be the biggest thing for your Blacephalon. Yeah, and then on that Dragon-type Pokemon just resist your huge hit on that Mind Blown. So yeah, running it to where you just have the Mind Blown on top of all this stuff, and then maybe a Hidden Power Ice could be pretty solid for Blacephalon as well. So it's just it's a glass cannon. It is the most literal glass cannon that's ever been made in Pokemon because it freaking throws its head at you, and that's the glass cannoning into your face. So Blacephalon, I was also thinking about Choice Scarf set. Unfortunate with that Mind Blown, you only get to use it twice, but this is pretty much like you kill 2 Pokemon. And you might be able to even get more than that, depending on how you play it, because you Mind Blown once, and then you can still save it for like an Overheat. Overheat scoring a KO, that means you're only at -1 instead, so you can still kind of like stack decent amounts of damage against the opponent. Come with Shadow Ball, come in with Psychic, mostly just because Blacephalon is frail. If you get outsped, is bad. So running a Timid Nature on that Choice Scarf is going to give you a lot of goodness right there. That's mostly just, actually also, I would recommend getting a Hidden Power Ice on this one as well. That way, even Scarf Garchomp can't deal with you. Scarf Landorus, they can't deal with you. So, Overheat, I do like it because, again, you can just get a huge hit that doesn't cost you health. And it's pretty much going to be the same KO ranges of Mind Blown and singles. Then you end up at -1, which is still going to be like a big hit. You're not 70% of a Pokemon's health. If their super frail Pokemon are already weakened, they could find KOs like that, switch out, and then get a Mind Blown. So that means you can find 3-4 KOs with this Choice Scarf Blacephalon, but only on neutral Fire-type hits. So maybe, but if you get rid of Psychic, then you know that's when you're dealing with Tox Specs issues. So that's kind of going to be the breakdown of the Blacephalon. So maybe get rid of Overheat for Hidden Power Ice if you are that worried about Garchomp, because if you're using a Scarf Pokemon, your Scarf Pokemon needs something Ice to deal with other Scarf Garchomp, potentially, and that's why you can run Timid Nature. Also, if you don't really care about Garchomp, you know, you have a different way of dealing with it, Modest actually outspeeds the Scarf Landorus therein. So 157 speed versus 159. So that means you can still like find these weird ranges where now we're getting 10% more damage out of our special attack on a 151 special attack. So it's going to really hurt, but that's really it. The thing about Blacephalon is also Flash Fire Pokemon synergize with it incredibly with doubles, but I see Blacephalon just being a better singles nuking Pokemon. So the reason why Flash Fire works is because we have Mind Blown hits all adjacent Pokemon. So that means if you're trying to use it in doubles to kill things, well, you're also killing your allies, which isn't that great. And you're also playing like this weird game because Scarf Blacephalon, well, that means now you can't Scarf your Typhlosion. So Typhlosion becomes vulnerable in response. The Chandelure, it's kind of not meant to be the fastest thing, but it does prefer like Scarf. You can Flash Fire boost it off of that. So there are some Pokemon that can benefit. You know, just make your Arcanine have a little bit more of an intimidating hit behind it, while also being a literal intimidating Pokemon. It's just anything that isn't dying to your Blacephalon, like your own Pokemon that isn't getting KO'd by your own Blacephalon, is going to just be a nice thing to have, unless you're like forced into protects or doing weird things like that, because you're just trying to lay down as much damage onto the opponent as possible. But it does also limit your coverage a lot. Okay, you have Typhlosion, Eruption, Blacephalon, Mind Blow. Now that does have just like KO potential. You know, you hit even a resisted Pokemon with 2 of the strongest fire type moves in the game, like they're going down. It doesn't matter at that point. But if they have a Flash Fire Pokemon, then you can be in for some problems. So I think one thing to notice is that if you don't see Intimidate on an Arcanine, it's Flash Fire. So you need to be aware of that the entire battle. Or maybe they just switch in the Arcanine into Flash Fire. So having it as a switch in is also a good response to an opposing Blacephalon, especially in doubles. But again, it works in doubles, but I don't see it being too crazy. Look at the damage of Blacephalon. We have just Fire EMZ, so Inferno Overdrive KOs something as bulky as a Silvally. Like, Silvally bulk, this is like what you want to be, and that's without a Life Orb. That's, well, I mean, technically the Inferno Overdrive is stronger, but I mean, you can still see that Mind Blown is 86% to 101% on a Silvally. And like, if we just added Life Orb or Choice Specs or anything like that, it just gets even crazier. So I mean, you can still run this insane nuke on the Blacephalon if you want to, but Inferno Overdrive into the Beast Boost, and if you already have a Beast Boost, you know, +1, say you KO'd a Pokemon with Inferno Overdrive, they bring in the Silvally. Well, you don't need Inferno Overdrive anymore because that's hate, that's pain. I'm freaking out at how much damage that is, guys. Looking at some of the other things, Tapu Koko in doubles is a KO to Mind Blow. So Scarf, Modest Scarf, let you outspeed the Tapu Koko, let you dunk it on the Mind Blow. There's not really much else to say. The problem is your allied Pokemon. Also, the opponent has another one. So Tapu Koko is one of the more frail. 75 special defense, 70 hit points. As you can see, if it's tankier than that, you're going to have a hard time. And we're Scarfing to try to not get outsped by many things. So that's something to consider. But there are also some other ranges where you can be successful at. Like, I'm going to take this 81% chance KO and just call it good. Now, the split damage doubles. Also, you could still get screwed over, and then Xurkitree pops you with a huge Thunderbolt. Still a big issue. I mean, if that was a Life Orb Xurkitree or any kind of other boosting on Xurkitree, it's just a very frail Pokemon, Blacephalon, and then Mind Blow costs you health. So if you get touched at all, Blacephalon just dies. Like, that's the thing to consider, is that, alright, well, it does seem hard to, like, maybe try to pick up a neutral KO on the Blacephalon for some Pokemon. Like, if you get a Life Orb, if you get a Specs on a physical hit or a special hit, at anything neutral from a moderately decent hitting Pokemon, you're dead. And even then, like, then doing 50% after a Mind Blow is pretty much nothing. I was going to say maybe a Heal Pulse Pokemon, like Telepathy. Telepathy is also going to be your best friend, so Heal Pulse Telepathy could be it. That's like the only other thing I've got. But then that only leaves us with the Gardevoir, so we could go Telepathy, Heal Pulse on the Gardevoir. It's like, do you want to have a support Gardevoir? I mean, I guess it kind of works, but like that's it. And you can still put some good damage behind that Gardevoir if you need to as well. And the idea is that Blacephalon's outspeeding and KOing anything threatening you. So that can keep Gardevoir safe just through the sheer amount of damage that Blacephalon is projecting towards the opponent. And Tapu Fini. Now, while it is not released, the Tapu Fini, or actually all of the Tapu Pokemon have Telepathy listed as their hidden ability, but it's not released at this time, so we don't know if this is going to come with like Shiny Tapu Fini or a future event or something like that, but it technically kind of exists, so we're going to see if that develops. However, that just seems absolutely terrifying, that you have Tapu Fini just Heal Pulsing next to a Blacephalon all game long. Could get pretty scary, or like and I don't know, it's just so strange to break this one down, because I feel like everything about Blacephalon is balanced perfectly when you think about it. 107 speed doesn't make the Kartana irrelevant. The Mind Blow actually not functioning like Belly Drum, and then just doing straight up half your health or even more, to where you only can use 2 of them, and then it hits all allies. So that means if you want to use it, you have to take a risk, and that means, say you go Fake Out. Well, if I have a Pokemon I go Fake Out, that means I stop the opponent, I KO the Tapu Koko, and then I KO myself because Blacephalon's doing absurd amounts of damage, forced to running Flash Fire, but then that makes my strategy really predictable. It's weird. It's freaky. It's as freaky as Blacephalon's design. What actually went into the little intricacies and the little technique and the mechanics of this Pokemon. It's crazy, guys. But at the same time, it's still a pretty powerful thing to be feared when you can still get it going. Like, again, I just showed you how to get 3 KOs with a Fire EMZ. If you want to take that any further, you can. That could just turn into an entire sweep. Full team gone, just like that. So, that could be an issue. Just trying to think about like some of the other things about the Blacephalon that I might be missing. What you could also do is have a Focus Sash Pokemon. So, Ambipom Fake Out, for an example. Fake out the opponent's Pokemon, KO the Tapu Koko, you survive on Focus Sash, and now the opponent, they're going to get finished off. You know, it's like everything gets to it KO'd by the Blacephalon's Mind Blown. So the opponent, the one that you faked out, they already ate one. If they somehow survive because of split damage, you just throw another one, and then that's going to be a KO right there. New Pokemon coming in, they're taking a lot of damage. Ambipom's fast. You hit it with a Last Resort or another move. Actually, no, that doesn't work because then the Scarf, you know, the Scarf Blacephalon is faster than your Pokemon. So really, if you survive on the Focus Sash, it's not really going to do much for you unless you want to protect after that. So you can protect, Blacephalon uses again, KOs itself. So now you have a 1 hit point Pokemon that was your fake out Pokemon using Focus Sash. The opponent has 2 Pokemon gone. So it's like a 2 for 1.9. And then you can try to regain momentum that way, or like a 2.3 for 2.19. It's a weird Pokemon, guys, is what I'm trying to say. But also, priority, anything faster than you just dunks you. Celorock from Lycanroc, 1 hit KO. Dead. Done. Rip. GG. That's life. I don't really know what else to say. It's like, you can't do anything about that. Talonflame is also going to be a KO, so I can go and show Talonflame. I'm not talking about like some kind of crazy Talonflame. Oh wait, I just put on the wrong Pokemon. I'm not talking about like some kind of crazy Life Orb, Choice Band, Talonflame or anything. No, Talonflame just comes in on the Brave Bird and does that much damage. That's Jolly Gale Wings. Like, that's kind of it. So the thing about Talonflame is it is running with some pretty high base powers, and that's like it. Like, so you just show this a close combat from Pokemon that has more than 81 attack. A Brave Bird. My bad. I don't want to blow it at the end of the video now. But yeah, you know, Brave Bird from Pokemon with more than 81 attack. It's just going to be raw KOs, and then also you add a Life Orb on set. So a Life Orb is going to push something like a neutral hit. So a Thunderbolt with Life Orb, that's going to start pushing the base power closer, something like that. So you only need a Pokemon that's slightly stronger, an offensive hit that's slightly stronger, and then everything else is a Rock Slide, an Earthquake, or just a super effective or resisted hit. And then Blacephalon loses half its health, gets outsped, dies. Greninja, naturally a problem. So there's a lot of problems for this Pokemon, and I think that's just crazy amount of balance. Like, it's absurd stats, absurd damage. If you can play around it, you know, you remove the Scarf Pokemon, you remove anything faster your opponent has, and then you just break everything else they have. So if you guys enjoyed the video, that's how you use Blacephalon. Hope you guys have a nice day as well. Thank you very much for watching.